Hi everyone! Nice to see you again. I hope all of you still healthy in this pandemic. So before start the video, I'm Rachma Anindita Tasya Dewi will explain about law text or we usually call is legal text in translation. This is including about the meaning, characteristic, types of law, challenge, and how to translate legal text or law text. So stay tuned guys!
Law text in translation. Law texts, or we usually know as legal texts, are writings in which there are various laws, regulations, certificates, and others related to law. This legal text will usually be used for those who want to apply for scholarship, work, and even move abroad, because several document requirements are necessary to change the document from the language of origin to the language of the country to be addressed. Given that legal texts are similar to perspective religious texts, it is not surprising that the early history of legal translation is very often associated with literal translation. However, because the translation of legal texts requires greater care, the legal translations invite greater attention among theorists. Therefore, one of the legal problems in translation is the issue of equivalence. This is difficult when equivalent is not found when the source language and the target language have different legal systems. The principle of legal translation uses a liberal approach. Then, characteristic of legal language. Legal language, especially English, has both written and spoken features, depending on the purpose they serve, the context of their use, the connection, and the background they share with the participant. Quote by Bhatia 1987. The writer form of English is also referred to as legalese, which has two main groups, namely lexical features and syntactic features. First, lexical features. The lexical features are divided into 5 sections. That is, A. Idioms are old words that are rarely used in writing anymore, so they are a bit forgotten as time goes on. One example is foreign phrases like inter alia and old words like hereof, thereof, whereof, and more, including at, in, after, before, with, by, above, on, upon. B. Technical terms. Some legal terms, such as patent, share, and royalty, and then other words known to lawyers such as bail and tort, are already familiar to her. However, some words come from French and Latin, but there are also words that have special meanings in legal English. There is attachment, action, consideration, execute, and party. These words have a precise definition in jurisprudence. C. Doublets and triplets are binomials that have two lexical items, usually nouns, adjectives, verbs, and prepositions, which are usually connected by conjunction. Examples are age and date, custom and usage, terms and condition, dispute, controversy and claim, promise, agree, and covenant. At first, it was used for completeness, but over time it became redundant and had no effect on the meaning itself. D. Phrasal verbs. Some phrasal verbs are used in a quasi-technical sense. For example, enter into contracts, put down deposits, serve or document upon other parties, write off debt, and so on. E. Reciprocal words and titles. Legal English usually uses words that are reciprocal and have opposite relationship by using alternative endings such as er, or, and ee, as in employer and employer, lessor and lessee, and also in some other pairs such as claim and defendant. Second, synthetic features. In contrast to lexical, synthetic features have 3 parts, including A. Sentence length. This often has a strange and complex structure. For example, The provisions for termination hereinafter appearing or will at the cost of the borrower forthwith comply with the same. B. Nominalization. In legal text, simple verbs are converted into nouns. For instance, to consider is changed into to give consideration, to oppose into to be in opposition, and to agree becomes to be in agreement. C. Impersonal style. Lawyers typically use features that reduce the agent's identity and emphasize action. This style can use passive sentence and typical pronouns. For example, similarly, he was denied his legal right to have a representative reason when confronted with the allegation of misconduct. Then, this legal text has several types. There is, first, certified translation. Usually, this document is used for patents or contracts, as many countries require this document to be certified to prove its accuracy. 2. Notarization. This legal text is different from a certified translation. Usually, a notary will sign the translated text but does not need to understand the contents, because all notary's translations come with an additional accuracy certification in addition to the notary certificate. 3. Apostille. This translation is simply a document that has been permitted to be used for international purpose. 4. Patent filings. To apply for a patent abroad takes a number of steps and requires many different legal translations to meet state administration requirements. Then, in its application, are there any challenge for translator of legal text? Of course, there is. The following are the challenges for legal text translators. There is, first, translate different legal terms accurately. We know that legal speak English is very verbose. In fact, legal professionals must have long experience in understanding complex legal documents in their native language, especially foreign language. Therefore, translator must have substantial experience to develop a total understanding of different legal terminology, as well as have the skills to translate them with total accuracy. 2. Translate correctly between different legal systems. As translators, they must have a strong understanding of the legal system in the country they are translating. This is because legal systems vary widely around the world, and sometimes laws and concepts in some countries do not have anything in common. Even the same legal concept between countries is usually expressed differently in their respective language. 3. Precisely translating the ins and outs of different languages. Then, as a translator, should consider the idioms, colloquialism, and syntax being translated carefully. Because of that, different commas, periods, and colons can change the meaning of certain legal phrases. If incorrectly, it will result in inaccuracies and inconsistencies between texts, which can create ambiguity in interpretation and lead to several problems. Therefore, translator must be careful to avoid this error. After knowing the challenge in translating legal text, then how do you translate legal text well? The following are several ways to translate legal text. First, looking for equivalent legal terms. If the legal terms are equivalent, they can be taken literally. For example, there is no reason to create a complicated German circumposition for a contract. However, translators should avoid translating legal language into everyday language. This could be a legal term that seems to have a literal translation that can be more complex in nature. So, if you want to translate legal text, make sure you have the right knowledge, not only about legal terms, but also functions in the whole legal system. 2. Finding addition if there are too many differences. If they do not find the equivalence of legal terms, the translator must look for another sentences or another branch. Usually, the branch is divided into 3 parts. There is no translation, or in this case, foreign terms are preserved and included in the translation. Then paraphrasing, foreign terms are entered into the translation by definition. And last, neologism, new terms created in translation, usually based on Roman legal terms. This condition is carried out if there is really no similarity in legal terms, because everything returns for the purpose of the translation. At the very least, use paraphrasing to ensure legal concepts are spread across borders. For example, first, absorption of foreign terms. Copy is copy and item is item. 2. Foreign terms translation. Party in Indonesian usually defined as a pesta, but in legal terms, a party is a pihak. Operation literally defined as a operasi, but in a legal context, it is defined as an activity. 3. Absorption and translating. Subcontract is subcontract, sub-absorbed and contract adjusted. Subdivision is subbagian, sub-absorbed and bagian translating. Another example is warga Amerika tidak dapat ditolak masuk wilayah Indonesia. Like every American citizen shall not be rejected to enter the Indonesian territory. Moreover, professional translators of legal documents should be legal scholars and linguists who have some experience related to this research work that needs to be done to translate legal terms and write their true meanings that should not deviate from the meaning of the search language. The translation of legal text in Indonesia is still rarely found in the literature. Besides that, translating legal text has its own challenge because it will be a little difficult. Usually, to get a quality translation, it must be done by a sworn translator. Types of translation that require the service of a sworn translator are documents related to civil records, letters of agreement or contract, certificates of ownership, and so on that contain law. If someone wants to get a translator degree in Indonesia, a sworn translator certification test is carried out in Jakarta and the certificate is issued based on the DKI Jakarta Governor's decree. Besides the sworn translator certification, there is a translator certification organized by the Indonesian Translator Association or HPI. The organization also provides legal document translation training. This training was conducted to provide additional knowledge and skills to members in accordance with HPI's vision of improving the quality of translators and translations.
I think my explanation is enough. I hope this information is very useful for you. Thanks for watching my video. Then see you.